Alright, you guys, it's Friday, October 20th, 2023, and it has been one of the most fantastic days in all of video games this year, and this has been an awesome year. So, if you guys are new to this, every single Friday what I do is I gather up some of the coolest, interesting things that happen within the game industry, and I kind of like bullet point them, highlight them for you in case you guys are interested. Things like Spider-Man 2 review and releasing, as well as Super Mario Bros. Review and releasing in the same week and releasing on the same day. It is fantastic. Again, a great time to be a gamer in the year 2023. If you guys like this style of video, do me a favor and like that video. Please consider subscribing, as that does help us out tons. Without wasting any more time though, let's get into the very first topic. Let's start off what is arguably the biggest thing that happened this week, and that is Super Mario Bros. Wonder reviewing at an awesome Metacritic score of 93. There's a lot of games that reviewed really well this year, and I think a lot of people in the beginning weren't expecting Super Mario Bros. Wonder to review this well, but this just shows that the plumber that jumps on little turtles' heads, when done right, can score amazing on Metacritics. It's gonna hit numbers. This is, by all accounts, a fantastic Mario game. I can't wait to actually get a hold of it and play it. I am picking it up later today, but probably won't have time to play it till later. But again, based off of everything that critics are saying, based off everything that like consumers are saying, this is not just a return to form, but also a fantastic change for 2D Mario, and it is the change that a lot of people have been looking for and have been hoping for. This cements Nintendo as one of the best publishers and developers of the year 2023. Things like Tears of the Kingdom scoring phenomenal at a 96, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder scoring at a 93. This is very reminiscent of Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild being in the Game of the Year conversation, and really being the two like games that are gonna be one of the ones that are gonna win it. I do believe that with this 93 score, Super Mario Bros. Wonder has cemented itself in the Game of the Year conversation. If you're a fan of Mario, if you're a fan of 2D platformers, you gotta be excited just to hear that. Now, we all know Nintendo knows how to make games for their hardware. Unfortunately, not everyone can just put their game on the console. Things like NetherRealm Studios putting Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch was a valiant effort, but it was just a horrendous port. It was terrible, it was glitchy, it looked bad. Now, Hogwarts Legacy is one of those games that has been saying it's gonna come to Nintendo Switch one day, and the team behind Hogwarts Legacy have definitely probably been working really hard to make that a reality. But the screenshots for the Switch port have been released, they have been shown, and it does not look pretty. It looks terrible, it looks horrendous. And I think this is what the trend is going to continue being, where a lot of these next-gen games are getting ported over to Switch, which is like 3 gens back outdated. It's not going to be a pretty sight. I hope everyone picking up Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch, if it does release, is aware that this is not a game built for the Switch. It is not going to be optimized. It's going to look terrible, and the download size, I'm sure, is going to be horrendous. Something I didn't expect in the year 2023 is to hear an announcement of a new Nintendo 64. Now, this isn't made by Nintendo. This is made by the people who made Analog Pocket, the Game Boy like emulator simulator type thing. Analog has announced that they are making the Analog 3D, which is essentially going to be a Nintendo 64 that runs your regular cartridges. It runs simulated cartridges. It's going to be a really cool device when it does officially release. The thing about Analog though is that when they release their like pre-orders, it is very hard to get in, and once those like shipments are done, they rarely ever like restock. And even if you pre-order the game, a lot of times it takes like years for you to actually get your product. I've heard people who still haven't even received their Analog Pocket from way back then. Anyways, it is still cool to see, because Analog, when they do release products, release really high quality products. And I can't wait to see Nintendo 64 looking amazing in 4K. Speaking of games that look amazing, Spider-Man 2 has officially released today. Again, the same day as Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Fantastic, phenomenal. Well, earlier this week, we also received reviews from Spider-Man 2. and this is sitting at a phenomenal 91 on Metacritic score. That is a huge bump up from their PS4 Spider-Man game as well as Miles Morales. Insomniac has proven time and time again they are not just the workhorse for Sony PlayStation, but they are damn near one of the best teams in gaming. There's not a lot of studios that can release 4 games in quick succession, all of them being critical successes, all of them being commercial successes. Insomniac right now is probably one of the best teams making games, and that is a lot to say. Spider-Man 2 definitely cemented itself in Game of the Year. Again, this is a game that I really want to play today because I'm really busy. I probably won't have the time, so I definitely have to try to get to it as soon as I possibly can. Overall, as a huge Spidey fan, as a huge Insomniac fan, as a huge PlayStation fan, I am very excited to finally play this game. Something I'm not excited for really is the PlayStation 5 slimmer model that's coming out. They announced that it was going to be releasing sometime in November. Well, notable PlayStation leaker Bill Bilkun has officially himself, I'm calling it officially because whenever he says something, he is always right. He's always accurate. And he said that the PlayStation 5 Slim will be releasing November 8th. Not only will it be releasing November 8th, but there'll also be like a Spider-Man bundle attached to the slimmer model. Now, I'm not really interested in purchasing up the slimmer model, but that is a perfect console. That's a perfect bundle right in time for the holidays. So if Spidey wasn't going to do numbers before, it is definitely going to do numbers, and it's going to help to increase the sales of the PlayStation 5. What is probably the most famous or infamous news in all of gaming in pretty much a very long time is Xbox acquiring Activision Blizzard King. This shook the world when it was announced for the $69 billion transaction. It was mind-shaking again when the acquisition actually went through sometime late last week. Now, Phil Spencer has come out to finally address when we will be getting Activision games day one on Game Pass. This is what Xbox fans have been waiting for, have been hoping for. This is what all the trials and tribulations was to get these Activision games on Game Pass day and date. Hopefully Modern Warfare 3, hopefully Diablo 4, hopefully a huge backlog of amazing titles from Activision. Well, Phil Spencer, the realist that he is, the man who always speaks the truth to the Xbox fans, has come out and said that they will not be releasing any Activision games within the year 2023, but they are getting hard at work on trying to release it as soon as they can. Here's hoping they do get it sooner than later, because Xbox fans, man, they're hungry for these Activision games. They want to play Call of Duties. They want to play a lot of these games that they've, missed from Activision, and I guess they want them really bad on Game Pass, and I get it. That's cool. That's awesome. I will say that Phil Spencer has said that this acquisition was very rocky and turbulent the entire ride, and they didn't want to start pretty much making the transition of putting these games on Game Pass if it wasn't 100% a sure thing. And as they didn't really know up until the moment it actually went through, they barely started working on it like pretty much currently. So that makes sense. There's a good logic behind why it's going to take them some time, and I do think that with like more time, they'll be able to deliver a better product, a better back catalog, a better future rollout plan. And I do think that in the year 2024, they'll definitely start releasing these games. They'll start making the announcements of which games are coming day and date to Game Pass, and that is going to be another earth-shattering day for the gaming industry. Huzzah to all of you Xbox fans. I know you guys are excited for this one. Something else that got me really excited, as someone who's not like a big Xbox fan per se, but I am a fan of a lot of their back catalog, not just theirs, but like Activision's and Bethesda, etc. Phil Spencer also said that he is very interested in looking into which games, older IPs that they can look to see if they can make a revival, if they can make a port, a remake, something. But essentially keeping these older IPs alive is definitely on his mind. He hasn't completely ignored their huge backlog of their 30 plus studios now. And that is awesome to hear, that at least we have people on the inside of Xbox talking about their backlog as though they're gamers. And that's like Phil Spencer's whole shtick, right? He sees the conversation online. He sees the conversation within the fan base, within the competitors' fan bases. And when people are saying, where's games like Banjo, Spyro, Crash, these are now the IPs underneath Xbox. Phil Spencer is a man who listens. Phil Spencer is a man who tries to get the job done for his fan base. So I'm hoping this is something that they can really start working on and really make some notable revivals on some of their well-forgotten franchises. Starfield was Xbox big game for the year 2023. People were looking at this game to redefine RPGs, redefine Bethesda and Xbox. And to some degree it did. I think to some degree it hit the goal of what it needed to do. And a lot of people have been questioning how successful Starfield is. There's player engagement numbers, there's player potato numbers, a whole bunch of different metrics coming out of Starfield. What is an interesting metric that we don't hear often from Xbox games is the fact that Starfield was the best-selling game in the month of September. Bravo, kudos, huzzah to Xbox. This is what people really want. People really want these games to do well, to sell well, especially for Xbox, because Xbox doesn't release their sales numbers. So to hear that Starfield is doing good on that is exciting to hear. And there was a lot of questions. A lot of people were very iffy about that. People were like, wow, how did that happen? Starfield is on Game Pass. I think people got to really understand that if a game is amazing, people will still go out and buy it on PC. And that's Xbox's whole game plan right now. Keep the sales through PC, and if you're an Xbox fan, you get it day and date with that subscription price. I think that it is gonna be proven to be a good model for Xbox as long as they can at least hit games to the quality, to the caliber of Starfield every year. So looking at 2024, we have games like Avowed, we have other games like Fable being hinted at. So hopefully we do have some of these really, really big games that sell well on PC and drive up Game Pass numbers. Now, since we're on the topic of Bethesda, we can't go up without talking about my man Pete Hines. Pete Hines has been working for Bethesda for 24 years, and this week he did announce that he will be retiring. It is a very peaceful retirement. There was no hostility, no anger or anything like that. He pretty much just said that with Starfield, he felt like he did all that he could and all that he wanted to do with Bethesda, and that he wishes them good luck on their future endeavors. And that is awesome to hear, that a man has been working with the same company for so long and can finally sail off to the sunset. So to Pete Hines, enjoy your retirement, my man. You definitely deserved it. A lot of amazing games released and reviewed in this week. Sonic Superstars has also reviewed and released this week. It is sitting at a Metacritic score of 75. A lot of people noting that this is a good continuation of the Sonic formula. It does everything a 2D Sonic game needs to do. Some of the most notable things that they said it's missing are things like a banger soundtrack. So if you're a Sonic fan, they bring the heat with the music, man. And then the boss fights, a lot of people said were lacking, which is something that could be troublesome in 2D platformers, right? When you think of 2D platformer bosses, they're never really the best. Bowser and Mario is never the best thing to kill, whatever. Sonic does have a history of really cool boss fights, however. Things like Metal Sonic, things like the Robotnik robots, they're usually really interesting and really cool to play. So it is a bummer to hear that. As far as picking up the game, I do plan on picking it up sometime later down the road, as Sonic games typically go really, really down in price. Currently right now it's sitting at a $60 price tag, and I have a feeling that it's probably going to be $30 in 2 weeks or even closer to Black Friday time. So that's definitely when I'll try to pick it up. Rockstar is one of the weirdest companies in video games. They've practically fed and paid their people off of the sales of GTA 5 back on the PlayStation 3, and have rarely released anything notable as far as video games are concerned. So it's always a weird company whenever I think about, Rockstar makes video games, because in my head I'm like, Rockstar makes GTA 5 and GTA 5 Online, and that's what they freaking do, man. Anyways, they have been reportedly in conversation with an unusual partner, and that partner is Netflix. The streaming movie giant has been trying to kind of reinvigorate their gaming market. They believe that is kind of untapped market as far as like the streaming services are concerned. It'll definitely separate it from like a Disney Plus or a Hulu. So that is really cool, and it's really interesting, and it's exciting to hear. Unfortunately, you don't always get the best games available on Netflix. I think they usually have like some like really random mobile games, some games that kind of tie into their Netflix series, etc. And every now and again they'll get like an auction free too. So I'm not opposed to them teaming up with Rockstar, because at least Rockstar is partnering with somebody, but it's just unexpected. What is even more unexpected, and is our final news topic, there is a speed running dog that is gonna be like taking the challenge to be the first like recorded speed running canine in history, and that is excited to see. Little, I think his name is PB. He's gonna be speed running this really classic Nintendo game, and that is one of the wackiest things I heard this week. I wanted to end this video on a really cool note, and as I was kind of talking about it right now, I was like, yeah, that's really cool. There's a dog who's gonna speedrun a game, and I'm like, man, I've never actually speedrun a game before. Does that mean this dog is a better gamer than me? I don't know, man. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it with that. Those have been the news topics that have interested me this week. Let me know if any of them were interesting to you. Remember, hit the like button on your way out. Click the subscribe if you want to stay up to date on a lot of the gaming interesting things that are happening within the industry. Blah, 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 blah. Remember, go out there, enjoy your weekend, play some games, and I'll see you guys on the next video.